The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast NH. This is a podcast designed by writers for writers on the journey to being published. Joined Mandra Biscornet.
It was so healthy and nutritious.
Deborah Monk.
Can we open each podcast with a dance number?
Shelly Devlin.
It was so full of inspiration and sparkles.
Every Tuesday morning live on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe to catch the podcast anytime on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, or your favorite podcast catcher. It's time to be inspired, feel empowered, and be well with the Writer's Block Podcast NH.
And welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast. I'm Mandra.
I'm Debbie.
And I'm Shelly.
And thank you for joining us at the Writer's Block, where our mission is to inspire, empower, and help people be well. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about New York Times best-selling author Marci Shimoff. Why, you may ask? Because she's coming on our show. April 3rd, she's going to be on our podcast, and we're just a little excited about that.
Just a touch.
Just a touch. And I don't really get excited about things like that. You know, I don't have, I don't get starstruck. I don't have a list of people I'm dying to meet, but I'm dying to meet her.
Yes.
And I'm super excited that she's coming on next week.
I think her books have made a connection in each of our lives, kind of
Yes.
thing. So that's what makes it even more exciting.
Right. So
Yes.
who is she?
Marci is the author of Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul and Happy for No Reason, which was an instant bestseller translated into 31 languages. In addition to selling more than 14 million books, she was featured in the hit film and book The Secret. And as you know, I met her a few weeks ago at Enterprise Bank when we were all supposed to go, but the snow interfered. And meeting her in person is even more thrilling than reading her books. Speaking of her books, The Secret, Mandra, I know you mentioned that. You mentioned The Secret in your story, Just Another Love Story. Why don't you tell us how it shows up there?
I do. I more than mention it. It is, I call it my Bible, and it truly was my Bible throughout that whole process. The Secret was written by Rhonda Byrne, and Marci is one of the contributors. And I have read and loved my copy so much that it's literally falling apart. There is no jacket cover. The binding is broken, and if I went like this, all the pages would fall out.
Well worn.
Well loved, truly. And it's a powerful message about how to attract the things you want in life and how to use your thoughts and feelings to bring the good things that you want into your life. And one of the things that Marci talks about is how to master your thoughts and feelings and then use them to create your reality. And that's hard for a lot of us because for a lot of us, our thoughts are kind of in control and run the show.
Think they are, right.
Right, especially the negative ones. So that's kind of the first step is being able to identify your thoughts and feelings and putting yourself back in charge of them and being able to, hear a thought or see a thought and decide if that's one you're going to keep or one you're going to dismiss. So that's kind of where it starts. And then one of the things that she talks about later is the importance of feeling good and putting yourself on a frequency of what you want and feeling as good as you will feel when you actually get it. And that was a huge struggle for me because living in the hospital, it was hard to kind of see that end point, and it was definitely hard to feel good. So what I would do, and I talk about this in Just Another Love Story, is I would visualize Brad up at our summer camp, sitting on the end of the dock with our dog Cruiser next to him, and I couldn't see myself. I was kind of back like in a lawn chair or something, and I could just see the back of Brad with his Red Sox cap on, sitting at the edge of the dock fishing, and Cruiser, the back of our chocolate lab, sitting right next to him. And I would just hold on tight to that image and try to imagine, all right now I'm feeling sad, anxious, stressed. How will I feel when I actually can see that? I will feel calm, happy, peaceful.
And it makes such a difference. It works.
Well, and that had to be hard because at that point there were times when Brad couldn't sit up, couldn't speak.
Oh, right.
So that had to really, that was quite a contrast to what you were actually seeing right in front of you.
Exactly. It was two different worlds. But that's what I had to do to get myself to that point of believing that day will someday come, that I will be able to see the two of them, on the lake, fishing side by side, not in this hospital room that we've been in for almost 6 months, And that's a big part of what I think Marci does, is helps people get to that point where they can feel happy and they can take some control over what happens in their life.
Wow. Well, her book here, which you can see, for those of you who can see on the camera, or you ladies, you can just tell them, see, look, mine's signed now.
Oh, my goodness.
Rub
I'm
it in,
jealous.
rub it in.
Yes. The funny thing is, this book was actually on my bookshelf. We moved a couple of years, and as I was taking the books off the bookshelf, I realized, I counted, I had 19 books about happiness, and Marci's was one of them. Of course, that one wasn't signed.
What does that tell us?
It just tells us she was meant, I think I was meant to read it again, and I am reading it again. But I also didn't know before that she wrote a book called Love for No Reason, which I'm not really a Kindle person, but I couldn't get it quick enough by ordering it, so a hard copy, so I have it here. I'm reading it on the Kindle. And in Love for No Reason, we mentioned on our show before that Marci talks about happiness set point. Mm-hmm. And in Love for No Reason, she talks about a love set point, which I've been reading, but there's just something inside of me that is not comprehending. I know that I have some resistance to it. I'm not sure what it is, so I can't wait till she's on next week. I'm thinking when I hear her speak about this love set point that I'll have a better understanding.
I can't believe she's coming on next week.
No,
so excited.
I'm going to miss it.
Oh, maybe you can Skype in.
Listen.
We're going to have to talk to our producer and see what we can arrange.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yes.
I'm just going to be on the road again. First of all, I didn't know there were 31 languages that she actually, there's really 31 languages. I mean, I was hoping to have my book in 3 languages. I didn't realize there were actually 31.
Well,
English, Ebonics, and what's the third one?
Right?
I don't care about the language, so I'll take the 14 million book sales. That'd be nice. I'll take 1 million.
I'll take a book.
Yeah.
I wish you'd take those earrings off because we're getting some clicky.
I did hear a little
I
clicking
tested
there.
those. I will slip it up and take them off.
Deb, I love how you talked about all your books. My books are kind of like my reference books. And I have the Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul. And I do not have the Happy for No Reason, but I did a little Cliff Notes this morning because I just flew back in after midnight from doing a hair show and
it's dedication right
dedication.
Boy, are
I'm
her arms
here.
tired.
I am here. And I decided, okay, listen, YouTube is a good tool. So I Cliff Noted on the way here on my drive-in, and I was blown away by listening to her do an interview about her Happy for No Reason. And she did an exercise that I want you guys to do because I'm not saying that I did this exercise while I was driving this morning.
I.e. you did.
But I did.
Yeah.
And I was talking to myself with a couple of swear words because I was like, no way. That did not just happen. And she talks about your happiness set point, and she talks about the mind and what a powerful tool it is.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep.
So you guys have a little, let's not call it a wrinkle, it's a crease, okay? There's a crease at the bottom of your palm. Jonathan, I want you to do this too. Okay, so the crease right at the bottom of your palm. Like there might be 10 of them. Just pick the top one because the top one's important, okay? Now look at your top crease. Put your hands together and line your top crease up, okay? Roll your hands together so that crease is in line and put your hands up. Do you have one hand that is a little longer than the other? One finger's, one set of hands is, your fingers are a little tiny taller?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So take your shorter hand,
Okay.
put it out in front of you. And say, grow hand. This is the corniest thing. Hand
Jonathan's
grow, you
laughing.
beautiful hand.
Grow
you
your
beautiful
hand.
hand.
Yes.
Grow.
Jonathan,
And really
we
think
can't
it.
see your hands. This
Imagine
only
your
works on your hands.
fingers.
Stop trying other parts of your body.
Grow.
It
It only works on yes. Marci talks about how she did this for men, and they did ask that first question.
Yes, I know.
Does it work for all body parts? Mm-hmm. Okay, ready? So you've got that beautiful hand growing, and you're concentrating on that hand. Now, line up your wrinkles again, okay?
Your creases.
Your creases. Roll your hand together
All right, that's creepy.
See?
Right?
See, is that the creepiest freaking
It
thing?
is.
Now, I'm not saying I had both hands off the wheel while I was driving. I was driving with my knee doing this morning. And oh my God.
That is crazy.
It talks about the power of the mind.
Yeah.
So what else
The
can
stunts
you grow?
of Shelly Devlin do not necessarily reflect the views of the United Podcast Network.
This
Or
is
the New Hampshire
Marci.
driving laws.
Yes.
It's amazing. The mind, the science, the universe.
Yeah.
Didn't that just creep you
Just
out?
for the record, it
powerful.
wouldn't work on any body parts that you only have one of.
Right, you need to have
so
two.
I'm glad you took
right.
note to that.
I would have never asked that anyways.
You were thinking it.
You were thinking you didn't need to ask.
Yes.
So it's just amazing, right?
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's the what she does, because she also did that muscle testing thing, and so she
That's
did
right.
this one when I heard her speak. So in two ways, she related the body and the mind and happiness. And as a dancer, I totally have had years of so much pleasure through my body, so much happiness. And I've realized, I haven't been, because I'm teaching a lot and I'm writing a lot, I haven't really been dancing for myself. Well, this weekend, I'll get into details later, but this weekend I danced with a gentleman, I'll just call him Tony, because that's his name. But he is really, he's my level, or he's probably maybe better than my level, but he hasn't been dancing for a while. So we feel like we're a really good match. And we danced for about the first 30 seconds. I had to stop him because I said, wait, I need a moment to recover from that much pleasure. My body's just not used to it anymore. I need to build up my pleasure muscles of using our body to live in this world.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's mind-blowing.
yes. And why don't we teach these things in school? Why aren't these conversations that people are having more often? How's the weather? How's your health? How's that doctor's appointment?
No,
how's your
that's the
hemorrhoid
circle
going?
of people that that's the circle
Shout
of people
out to
that we
certain person.
surround ourselves with. Is she talks about that, surrounding yourself with your happy people, because they are going to connect to your happy preset.
Yes.
Your thermostat, your happiness.
And she talks about that in The Secret with regard to relationships too, that, if you're having a hard time with someone, or be it a coworker or a partner or whatever, and then you tend to focus on the negative and what you dislike about them.
And it grows.
And it grows. So what would happen if you focus on what you like about them or what you appreciate about them? Even if it's the smallest thing, like they did the dishes once,
Yep.
If you focus on those things, then you probably will get more of it from that person.
So how would you counsel a wife that wakes up first thing in the morning and says, don't even talk to me, don't be happy around me,
Because it's annoying.
and be quiet, because you're
didn't say
annoying me
quiet.
already.
Wow. I don't know. You better check your circle, Jonathan.
I'm just asking if, hypothetically speaking, for a friend, how would you girls counsel that particular producer?
I think that person should say to their spouse, thank you for being honest and letting me know where you're at, and I will now go away and leave you alone for an hour. I will go away and be happy, i.e. annoying, somewhere else. We're not all morning people.
We're not
Mandra,
all
this
morning
is your
people.
deal right now. This
Right,
is
for
where
this
this is the RX pad. Come on, bring it out.
I would first ask that person who's being told that, are you letting that determine your morning?
Oh, hell no.
So
This is why we love John, why we love Mandra.
Because she's the female version of me? I'm confused.
So you don't let, you can only be in charge of you, right? So you determine if you're going to take that and let it ruin your morning, or if you're going to take that and be like, well, I'm really looking forward to my morning coffee still, even though I just got told to be quiet and leave me alone.
Right, and be a
go
girl
do
about
it.
it all day long and kind of not admit that your feelings were hurt. And, it's 7 o'clock at night, oh, you hurt my feelings. Wah, wah.
Oh my!
Anywho, back
I
to
think we've
Marci.
got a whole other episode on that.
Yes.
Back to Marci. One of the things in both of her books, Happy for No Reason, also in the beginning of Love for No Reason, she talks about how she wasn't always the happiest person, how she wasn't born with a very high happiness set point.
Correct.
And that makes me more interested in hearing how she got there. Because, and when she was writing Love for No Reason, guess what she was doing? Going through a divorce.
Of course.
Yes. And they had decided kind of lovingly, they sat down together, and even though they still loved each other, they just both decided they'd be better off not together.
What was she, born on Krypton? She's some sort of superhero?
Exactly. That's why she's going to be on our show.
She seems like one.
But when you admit your faults, when you admit that you were weak, like you were telling us that you heard about her being in Chicago, signing her books, the 5,000 books.
Yeah, tell us that story.
Yes.
That was a good
So she
story.
said she was at the height of her life. The height
Of her career.
Of her
of her career,
Yeah.
which she related to her life, that
Yeah.
she finally got all these things, where she had 3 books on the #1
New York Times
bestsellers list. She had signed in one day
She was in Chicago.
in Chicago over 5,000 books. She had a massage therapist. The client had a massage therapist hired for her to massage her hands so she wouldn't get carpal tunnel
Right.
during the signing.
from all the signing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then she went up to her room. Now, you'd think she would be the most grateful, like, on top of the world.
And
she was in the penthouse suite.
Exactly.
Penthouse suite.
Overlooking the Chicago skyline.
What could be better?
Right.
What'd
So
she
she
do,
looks
Deb?
like she has it all.
What did she do?
What did she do?
She did what I do a lot.
She did, didn't
Went
she?
in the shower and cried?
No, she threw herself on the bed and bawled.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so, but she tells us that, which just
Makes her more real.
yes, and more believable. And you think, okay, if you managed to do it when you were that happy and you weren't that happy,
Yes.
yeah,
Because somebody's standing on a podium telling their story when they've, come from a silver platter with a silver spoon.
Right. There's no struggle.
But and everybody has struggled.
Yes.
Just not
Right.
everybody's willing to tell it. And I think that's one of the things that all 3 of us are brave enough to do in our own stories. We are. Yes.
Ahem.
We are. Oh, sorry.
I happen to be writing a memoir right now. So
All right,
there's
well-
4 of us telling our story.
That's right. We've inspired Mr. Jonathan.
Yes. But the question is, will he, because this isn't in his nature, I don't think, will he reveal his weaknesses as well? Because I think it only makes you stronger and braver and more honest and more relatable.
I think he will, but I
That
think it'll
remains
be
to
in
be
humor.
seen.
I think the
I
question
think
is,
there's gonna be some humor.
Will he ever admit he has some?
Weaknesses?
Exactly.
All right,
Lost
we have
your mind.
Well, we have some work to do. He is our client, I'm assuming.
He will be our client, yes. And don't worry, when we're editing, we'll remind him. Well, you're not. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that'll be my job.
You can
Yeah,
try.
Mandra.
I'll keep him honest.
Yes. Wait till we get to the walk
Don't
around
get
the block.
yourself kicked off the island, lady.
Oh, she won't.
I mean, she was,
She's
the
on
first.
the island. Who was on the
She
island?
might not be the BFF anymore.
I know, but then I don't know who would be because she's yelling at him in the morning.
Oh, it's down to Shelly now. Shelly's the favorite again.
She does have that mohair vest.
Yeah.
Thing's badass.
It is. It is. One time we'll all wear one. I'll bring
yes.
mine. We'll get
Ooh,
Deb
I'll
one.
get
I have a closet full, so I can share.
I want a blush color one. Do you have blush?
Let me check.
Do you have one in
Okay.
black? Because I want to be kind of like the furry Johnny Cash.
Mine's black.
Oh.
We
So I
might
get-
have to lend that to Jonathan and
fine.
get you another one.
How did we get so sidetracked?
Yeah.
like-
A lot
listen,
of
we're all
sidetrack
a
today
bunch of
because there are
squirrels
so
around
many
here.
good.
Because we're so excited that Marci is coming on
And our
the Writer's Block
cappuccino's being
podcast.
made. If you heard that all, we've been promoted to. We actually are going to be cappuccino delivered
Yes,
to the
because
set.
I think Studio 21 is like really busy making a lot of cappuccinos
yes,
this
for
morning.
all our audience.
So we have some background
Yeah.
noise happening there. So yeah, you have to listen in next week because we're Skyping Marci in. It's going to be a little bit later of a show.
Because
right,
she's in California, so she's Skyping in.
Correct. But we're so excited to have her. And thanks
Over
to
the moon.
Deb
Oh,
for pitching it, for asking the question.
So
at
for
the
people
conference.
that are listening to this podcast recorded, and if you want to catch the show live, you can jump on to the Writer's Block NH on YouTube at 2 p.m. Eastern, because she's on the West Coast. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So the show normally tapes at 10 o'clock Eastern. We're going to tape the show at 2 o'clock Eastern, 4 hours later, to accommodate Marci on the West Coast.
Can I Skype in? Jonathan, can you Skype 2 people at the same time?
I've never tested that.
Okay, let's work on that. I'll be in
Sounds
Houston.
an awful
3
lot like you
time
want
zones.
me to work on that.
Yes.
You have a
When
very
she says let's, she means you.
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, we're just so excited to have Marci come on next week. So definitely listen in. But now we are going to do a project check-in and see where everybody is at with that. Who would like to kick it off?
You. Yours is so exciting. You
Yes.
just told us this.
Mine is exciting, and mine just happened an
like
hour
literally.
ago in the parking lot waiting to come here and do the show.
A perfect example of manifesting positivity.
Right, because I have 2 copies of The Secret with me
Yes.
today. That's how powerful it was. That I had reached out to someone at the Department of Strategic Communication at the Brigham and Women's Hospital to see what I needed to do with regards to using the hospital name and names of doctors and all that. And she called me while I was in the car waiting to come in and kind of walked me through how I can use the name and how it has to be properly branded. So I can't use the ampersand, you have to spell out and. She offered to do some medical editing for the book so I can send it. They can have someone take a look at it to make sure my terminology and medical procedure info is all correct. And then the one thing that I didn't even think of is she can actually set up interviews with the doctors and or nurses if I want to
That was
do
like
that.
the cherry on top of the cake that you didn't even expect.
No.
So exciting.
So very exciting and just happened this morning. So I'm thrilled I have this contact. I will reach out to Boston Children's Hospital and kind of do the same thing there.
Right.
Because we were at both. But yeah, I'm on my way to making sure I don't get sued by a hospital.
Important.
Which is very important.
Very important.
And you want to be accurate. Your
And I
story's
want to be
too
accurate.
important to be distracted by something negative like that.
Right.
So just take
I'm
care of it up
excited.
front.
Yeah. All right. Shell?
Well, a little project update. I mean, the stories keep coming every day.
We've gotten some pages from you. That's exciting.
Right?
Lots of them.
And I need new stories. Oh my God, it just keeps coming. But I still get a block. So I'm learning so much between Dawn, my editor, and you guys in the writers group that you have seen me come
so far.
eons
So
and
far.
worlds, right?
Yep.
So far.
Your
and I
progress is
understand it
amazing.
now when I read it. I'm a storyteller, so I'm needing to show versus tell. And I understand it, but sometimes I called my Lifeline Deb last week and said, I get it, but I don't even know how to change the words. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to flip these sentences. I don't know how to bring this part to the front and twist it around and add some more senses to the story. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know how to do it.
Right.
So she's been helping, and it was literally a half hour
Yeah.
that we sat down, and it felt like I got a 5-hour lesson. So it was great. It was really good. Really good. So still plugging along.
Yeah.
Plugging
But that's
along.
the power of the group.
Right. Well, that's a perfect time to my project update because you guys were there, but you didn't really see the outcome. We had a meeting. We had our regular meeting last week, I think it was, and I came and I was I had written this memoir, 321 pages. I sent it to my editor. I paid him the money. I think I've told the story. It came back to me. I put it, and he had a few comments. I put it in the drawer, pulled it out again, started where I put it back in the drawer. And somebody, just a random friend of mine, had said to me, well, that seems kind of crazy that you wrote 300. I would never write 321 pages, have it edited, and then not put the book
Wait,
out.
and pay an editor.
Pay an editor.
Exactly.
Pay an
Right.
editor, and
Right.
then not put the book out.
And then not put the book out. And when my friend said that to me, I thought, that's actually pretty good advice. But I spent 2 weeks trying to tie the old version with the new version. I couldn't weave them together. I felt like they were written by 2 different women because they were. One was written 10 years ago. I was a different person. So I came to our meeting with the intent. I literally had a spreadsheet of my reasons. I didn't want to become the writer who starts projects and just keeps putting them aside. So that was why I was afraid to do it. But I came to our group basically asking you girls for permission to put this book away. I just can't seem to do it, even though my soul has called to do it. I can't stop myself. But I'm going to stop myself, put it away, and actually get to work on something that I can finish.
I think we got this.
Yeah. Oh no, you didn't. No, you got something else. It was almost bigger than
We
that.
got fireworks.
Yes. So I had every
What did
intention.
we say, Deb?
You guys, Mandra. It was Mandra, of course. I don't even really. When we were leaving, I said to her, I can't even comprehend what words you said to me. But if I had a gun, this is the only way I could describe it. If I had a gun that had bullets that I could shoot you in the head, and inside your head, then fireworks would go off. That's what I would do because that's what you have done for me. No, I left that meeting. I went home. I think I have I think I have about 50 pages, you guys, where it started weaving together.
Because we said what? We said, no, you can't put that away.
Yeah.
Well, that can't be a choice.
But no, it wasn't a choice.
We said basically.
and she thought it was. She thought
I
we were
really
gonna
had
get
a good argument.
approval.
That's
No.
what I wanted.
Yes, you
No.
wanted our stamp of approval to now put it away.
Denied.
Yeah, it was denied.
And you knew it was going to be. You had to know in your heart of hearts that they were going to deny you putting that away.
I don't know.
The thing is, if they couldn't have just said denied. Somehow, Mandra has this way. She's kind of like my editor, and Shelly does too. Shelly just does it in a little bit more of an emotional way. Mandra does it in a little bit more.
Shelly's more like the party devil on the shoulder,
Yes.
and then Mandra's like the get
Mandra's-
down and dirty.
She's the knife
You're
behind
getting
your
this
back.
done.
You don't even see it coming. Like she's standing in front of you, yet somehow she reaches behind your back and stabs you, and then you kind of beg her as you're bleeding to death in her arms, Mandra, help me. And she says, no, sorry, go home and start working. I do love it when she does it. It's amazing, the power. So my project update is just how grateful I am for my group, my tribe, and how I couldn't be making the progress. I couldn't be making the improvements that I am without you.
Well, we feel the same way, and
Absolutely.
our
We're a
writers
team.
group, has done amazing things for all of us.
It has.
Yeah. So.
Well, my project update is I came up with
You're not allowed to have a project update yet.
I came up with a
You're a
great
client?
fake name for the roller skating rink that I worked at. And
You worked at a roller skating rink?
yeah, that's part of my memoir.
Oh.
When I send in my pages to the group,
Wait, what if I was
there?
there?
We'll see that, yes.
I think I might have been there.
What's the
Yeah.
fake name?
The fake name is the Hard Rock Roller Rink.
Oh.
I don't think that's that good.
You don't?
Do you?
It'll work. I think it'll work.
Well, it had the word granite in its name, so I had to
So you
tie it together for people that were there,
Yeah.
Oh, now I
Gotcha.
get
but
it.
not name names because I don't want to be sued by a hospital either.
Right.
Oh, now I
Right.
get it. I didn't get it before. That's great.
That's a good tie-in. Yeah.
She just is so down on me all the time. She's trying to keep
Okay,
me
we're
down.
going to do a separate show.
Separate
For you two.
episode.
Let's see what Mandra's
Called
rates
couples,
are.
You got a couple
I'm
black and
writing a
white
second
outfit
book
so you
about
can be a
couples
referee.
therapy.
Someday Jonathan and I will write a marriage. No, how not to book.
Oh, gosh.
It'll be too. You'll
I
seriously.
can't wait to edit that one.
Yes, yes.
we're-
Yeah, we'll be talking about 2 different marriages.
So we are going to wrap it
I
up.
think he's wrapping us up.
We're
Yeah,
done.
I'm
done.
playing you bitches out.
Thank you so much for listening. And check us out next week when we have Marci on the show. May you be inspired, feel empowered, and be well.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.